Today, we'll discuss the crucial topic of instructional material design in English language teaching. We will try to explore the roles, functions, and types of instructional materials and how they have evolved in the AI era. The title of my presentation is Understanding the Who, What, and How of Instructional Materials and ELT. By the way, my name is Jendel Nieves. Let's begin first with what are we going to talk about in this particular explainer video. Let's try an overview of instructional material design in ELT. And there are several topics and objectives we would like to achieve for this particular video. First, the role of the instructional materials in language learning. The goal for this topic is to define instructional materials and their significance in the context of language learning. With that, we would like to answer the question, if instructional materials is human, the question would be, who am I? The next topic is functions of instructional materials. On this particular topic, we would like to identify and explain the various functions of instructional materials in facilitating language acquisition. And in this particular objective, we would like to answer the question, what can I do? And third, we would talk about types of instructional materials in support to language learning. In this particular topic, we would like to illustrate the role of different instructional materials in supporting language learning. And in this particular objective, we would like to answer the question, what are my different roles? So, with these key questions, we will be able to understand what is instructional material design in ELT. Let's begin to the first question. Who am I? I would like to define this particular or answer this particular question with two specific era, the pre-AI and the AI era. So we would understand what do we mean by instructional materials. And right after, we would talk about their significance in the language learning. Let's start first in the pre-AI era. In the past, instructional materials primarily referred to number one, physical resources like textbooks, workbooks, and flashcards. Also, it refers to the audio recordings and videos and other supplementary materials created by educators or publishers. These materials were significant because, number one, they provided structured and curated content for learners. It also offered standardized approach to language acquisition because a long time ago we have one workbook that we're going to use in learning language. It also served as the primary sources of input for learners. Like when they open the book, they would be able to learn the grammar rules, they will be able to know how to make sentences, and so on and so forth. These materials, instructional materials before the AI, also become the teacher's guide in curriculum planning and also at the same time in lesson delivery. But, time also changes because there are a lot of phenomena happened in the education. And one of that is the integration of artificial intelligence and specifically generative AI, or also known as Gen AI. I like to explain the transition of pre-AI era to AI era with this particular illustration or situation. Unlike before, we don't allow cell phones in our classrooms because they cause distractions. In fact, we have several classroom policies that you are not allowed to use cell phones during the lectures or during the lessons of or during the class hours, example. However, now most of our activities can be done via mobile or any devices. So, from that kind of idea, from no cell phone classroom to e-classroom, really illustrate how instructional materials from pre-AI to AI era has really changed. Most of the studies in Asia talk about AI in ELT than they were a few years ago. Integrating artificial intelligence in English language assessment or instruction has led to critical changes in the caring practices. The use of AI or Gen AI altered the students' learning mindset and even the teachers' roles. And of course, it includes instructional materials. Now, in this particular era or AI era, instructional materials have expanded to include number one, it has now AI powered tools. Most of our instructional materials right now are AI powered. Second, we create now instructional materials that are adapted in the learning platforms that they can be used, for example, in our respective learning management system. We could use that in our devices, mobile phone, laptops, iPads, for example. Also, we can be more interactive to the digital content, unlike before. The significance of these materials also has evolved. One of that, it offers personalized learning based on individuals' progress and preferences. We have several algorithms in AI right now that would help our students, for example, this is their level, and these are the different materials that they need to take in order to improve from that particular level. And like before, we have a one instructional materials for everybody, regardless of their individual progress or preferences or learning style, for example. Right now, also, because of AI, we can provide immediate and contextualized feedback on language production. Um, One example could be is that in writing, if we put our writing into Grammarly, for example, or Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, it can give us idea as to how can we improve our grammar immediately. Unlike before, we need to wait for the teacher's uh, feedback and checking of our paper in order for us to understand what are the parts we were not able to get correctly. So immediate feedback and contextualized feedback on language production is one of the uh, beautiful transformation and benefits and significance of instructional materials in the AA era. Another one, it also gives us more authentic language practice through AI-powered conversation. Um, One of that could be an example of replica. It tries to mimic a certain, accent of a person, or it tries to give you an actual person to talk to. It allows also for data-driven insights into learners' performance and also try to figure out what are the areas for the students to improve, which it cannot be done thoroughly no, by the teachers themselves. But of course, the teachers are more capable than AI in really understanding the context of their students. But because of these instructional materials, it makes the life of our teachers easier. So, meaning to say, they are spending their time, most of their time, in helping the students rather than in checking papers or giving um, generic feedback. So they have more time to go to more, important um, parts of the learning of our students. Next would be is that it facilitates autonomous learning. Students can learn even outside the traditional classroom settings. They can learn at home, they can learn while they're traveling because of AI, because of AI driven instructional materials in this time. These advancements could fill the gap of a long-term search for practical instruction and assessment that Bloom thought impossible long time ago. But despite of this, we would like to, and I would like to try to give an emphasis that even though it had come from different era, like pre-AA era or AA era, it is important to note that the essence of instructional materials remains the same. It maybe it improves, maybe it has changed in terms of its form and how the teachers use them, but in the end of the day, they serve the same purpose, and that is to become the heart of active engagement for students in their language learning. So, regardless that the form transformed or revolutionized or have a different way of doing things, but bottom line, their essence still the same to become the heart of the active engagement of the students in their language learning, regardless of the time. So that is instructional materials in both pre-AA era and AA era. Now, moving forward, let's answer the second question. What can I do? Now, let's explore the various functions of instructional materials in facilitating language acquisition. And I will be using the bricks in understanding that concept. Let's begin first to what AI can do, or sorry, what instructional materials can do. Essentially, instructional materials can make learners engage. The goal of the instructional materials is to spark interest and relevance to the students, to activate multiple intelligences in their learning style, and also to help the students reduce anxiety in language learning. I would like to bank in the idea of Dr. Stephen Krashen when he make the combined acquisition and production model, wherein he believed that even though the input is great, it will not automatically go for the person, and the person or the learners will be able to produce language because there is what we call a affective filter hypothesis. And in the affective filter hypothesis, it makes the students, when it's high, it makes the student stop producing the language, or they have they become more anxious in their learning. So the goal of the instructional material is to make good input at the same time, take out or make the affective filter hypothesis low so that the input will go eventually to the student, and they would be able to produce language. So one of the capabilities of instructional material is to make learners engage, and it gives them an opportunity to activate their multiple intelligences and also their learning styles. By that, we can help our students to become more motivated, and we could be able to help our students to become more engaged in language learning. So, one of the things that instructional materials can do is to make learners engage. Next one is that instructional materials can also give comprehensible input. Now, going back to the idea of Dr. Stephen Krashen, one of its hypotheses is what we call comprehensible input. And in comprehensible input, it says there that when we teach our students, it should be at least um, what plus one to their existing or initial level. So, instructional materials, its goal is to help our teachers give a comprehensible input to our students. Because of instructional materials, we can have a rich, meaningful, and comprehensible input to our students. And remember that input serves not just to teach the language, but also help them produce the language or release the language. So instructional materials is so powerful, it can do that. It can make the students or give the students idea about grammar, but also there are many ways that the instructional materials can make the students produce the language. All right, so that's one thing that instructional materials can truly do, to give our students an opportunity to produce a language. And good instructional materials can help our students produce good, uh, you know, or let's just say facilitate language production. Another one that instructional materials can do is that ordering the language acquisition. We are very much aware as an English teacher that um, Dr. Stephen Krashen mentioned about natural order hypothesis, where we learn language in a certain order, okay, or in a natural language development. So in this way, instructional materials can help us, teachers and students, arrange our lessons and make it more natural for the students. Because remember that language acquisition is like growing garden and not building a wall. Um, Allow students to learn what they need to use rather than what they're told to learn. So instructional materials there is making sure that our students will be supported as they learn or as they develop naturally, as they acquire language naturally. The instructional materials will be able to scaffold them. Because at the end of the day, the essence of instructional materials is to really help our students produce their language. So instructional materials can help teachers and students arrange their lessons and make it more supportive and natural in terms of their language development. Now, going back to the idea of bricks could make a bridge. All right. And in this time, instructional materials read teachers to students. So, in the same manner, bricks can become a bridge. Bricks can, you can build as a, building or anything that you like to. But in this particular context, bricks is like instructional materials. It helps our teachers and students meet as they learn language, as they developed language. Now, finally, we would like to answer the third question. What are my different roles? What are the different roles of instructional materials? In a generic manner, um, one of the roles of instructional materials is, let's put that in textbook. Textbooks are teaching resources, and at the same time it also become a presentation materials for our teachers and students. So the role of the textbook is to give resources for our teachers and at the same time to present concepts and ideas in language learning. On the other hand, digital and non-digital activities, the role of this kind of instructional material is, number one, to allow our learners to practice and give them an opportunity to enable communicative interaction. And if your instructional materials can make our students practice their language, not just give them idea about the language, but also allow them to practice the language, produce the language, conduct communicative interaction, then that particular role is being fulfilled by digital and non-digital activities. Interestingly, one of the roles of instructional materials is to really support beginning teachers. Okay, because of instructional materials, beginning teachers can be able to give facilitate classes and make their learning more meaningful and significant to their students. Moving forward, one of the roles of instructional materials is to give us an authentic source of language. And it gives us really an opportunity to listen to an actual accent, uh, an actual conversation, an actual um, an actual way where you could communicate to the different people around the world, or how are you going to use English for that particular matter. So what are the different roles? First, they become a resources. Number two, they could activate and give an opportunity for our learners to practice and communicate. And third, to become a source of an authentic language, which are very, very important for our students. Now, to be very specific, here are some examples that we could use. And while we're teaching our students in different macro skills and different sub. Okay, one of that is teaching vocabulary. We can use picture books, read aloud handbook, word cards, picture cards, newspaper, dictogloss, and vocabulary.com. All right, because we have a website also that can be used. Another one for teaching grammar, we could use radio broadcasts, TV shows, documentaries, telephone conversation, printed materials, chat GPT, or Claude AI. Another one is when you wanted to enhance your listening and your speaking. There are AI-powered chatbots that allow learners to practice conversation and enhance their speaking abilities. One of that is Small Talk to Me, offers a platform that allows speaking skills and practice assessment. We also have ELSA, focuses on the comprehending and providing feedback on the spoken utterances to make learners refine their pronunciations and their fluency to really communicate to different people around the world. Moving forward, we also use iChart, reading guides, story maps, literature, and e-books as our instructional materials in teaching reading comprehension and cultural awareness. And we have a lot of e-books right now that the students can really, really access. But definitely, of course, they have to be also, uh, they also need to practice reading really an actual book, especially for literature. Okay. Next would be improving writing skills. When it comes to teaching and assessing writing skills, there are a lot of machine translation tools such as Google Translate, Never Papago, that can assist our learners in translating their text between languages. They can also use Grammarly, offer a comprehensive approach to writing assistance by providing suggestions for their grammar, spelling, and punctuation. They also have Skillboot, for example, and focuses on paraphrasing to help learners express ideas in alternative ways. They have WordTune, Jenny. They are AI-powered assistants in improving clarity, conciseness, and style of our uh, writing. ChatGPT, PaperPal, and Essay Writer, Copy AI. These are Gen AI that can actually generate human-like text and assist our students in creating various of contents. They are AI-powered language model that can generate text wide range of writing tasks, check our paper, and help us to make our own, make our own paper. But again, there always have to be a balance in using all of these. It provides a multiple opportunity for the learners to improve their writing skills. So there you have it, instructional materials, the heart of the active engagement in language learning. It has many phases, many functions, and many roles, especially uh, in the integration of AI this time. But by understanding effectively and utilizing them, you as an English teacher can create a more engaging, personalized, and effective language learning experience for your students. And I know there are a lot of things that we need to discuss on instructional materials, but in the meantime, I hope that this video will be able to explain what is instructional materials, what instructional materials can do, and what are the different roles of instructional materials. And I guess instructional materials is truly vital in every English teachers and English learners. Thank you.